Hey friends, my name is Cassie Nowak and I am super excited to share with you today everything I know about remote teaching. I know that you may be feeling a little confused, a little scared, overwhelmed. I feel the same way. My whole town is shutting down. All of the schools within probably a 50-mile radius have already announced today that they're closing. So all of this is happening so fast. I live in the Houston area and our rodeo is shut down, our sports are shut down, all of our town activities are shutting down, and that includes the schools. And so where does that leave you? You may be in the same boat where right now you're sure you're going to be teaching remotely, or that maybe it's a concern for you that it might happen. And so I wanted to share with you in this free workshop how you can use the materials that you already have to create a classroom outside of your classroom. So this is all a last minute course. I literally have thought of it and started working on it today. So it's not going to be fancy. You're probably going to hear my dogs bark. You may hear my husband or my kids talk, but and you're going to see my half painted fingernails. But I felt like it was really important to get this course out there and to get people feeling a little bit secure about how they're going to deal with this and how they're going to move forward as teachers. So I'm really excited to teach you everything that I've learned over the last few years. I've spent several years really learning how to differentiate individual students' education for them. And through that, I ditched whole group lessons and I started creating these learning paths that students worked through. And those learning paths were all facilitated through technology, through basic technology that I'm going to teach you in this workshop. And it worked. My students learned, they worked through their learning path, and I was able to assess them and see and guide them, the same thing that you can do remotely. So stick around as I show you these things. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk to you about is just to remind you that this strategy that I'm going to teach you today uses only regular materials and regular resources. The curriculum you already have, the worksheets you already have, all of that. And also, everything I'm going to show you today uses basic technology, so you don't have to learn any new platforms. Even though there are some amazing platforms you could use for remote learning, this strategy is going to focus on just using the things that you're probably already using. And if you haven't, they're really easy to learn. So also the learning, before we move on, I just want to tell you that if you go to this site, bit.ly/remote-learning20, you can sign up to get on my email list. And basically, I have put this whole workshop together in just a couple of hours. I'm trying to get it out there so teachers can get started right away. I know Monday is coming soon. A lot of us are off for spring break, but not for very long. And I'm not going to be able to create all of the starter files and things that I wanted to share with you. So if you go to this site and you leave your email, you'll join my list. And whenever I get finished with all of that other stuff, it'll be emailed directly to your inbox. So again, it's bit.ly/remote-learning20. So the learning path uses regular materials, like I said. So that might include just your regular textbooks that you use or online resources. So you can use Khan Academy, Reflex Math. I know reading teachers have a lot of different places they go where their kids read and are assessed. You can use those. You can use worksheets. You can use TPT resources. I know there are thousands of digital resources on TPT. There are free online games. You can just Google them. So all of those regular materials that you would normally use in your classroom are all going to be materials that are great for this strategy. And I talked about the technology too being basic. Basically, we're going to focus on Google Apps and specifically with Google Slides. And if you choose to use Google Docs or Forms, that just makes your learning path even better and more flexible. So if you're not familiar with Google Apps, don't worry, they're basic programs. They're very similar to Microsoft programs, Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. So we also are going to be focused on using Screencastify or other free screen recording software that is available to you. That's simple to use and free. And the last one is a program called Cam Scanner. And Cam Scanner is an app that you download on your phone, and it allows you to take a picture of a worksheet or something that you have printed and create a digital file that you can easily upload into Google Slides. So those are the things that we're going to be looking at in the way of technology. So basic materials and resources, basic technology. So this workshop is going to have 6 different lessons. The first one is where we're going to plan and structure the learning path. Then we're going to talk about how do you teach. And then we're going to talk about how students practice and how they're assessed. We'll also talk about how you can communicate with your students and how you'll facilitate the whole remote learning process. So stick around as we start working through these lessons.